For my peoples, Jay Cuttz, Salvaequa. We out here with another beautiful meaning of life show, and we're right here with Johnny Potenza.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, man?
What's going on, Jay?
Staying blessed, man. It's an honor to have you here. You know, we've heard a lot about your shows.
Don't believe everything that you hear, okay?
Well, I mean,
Leave half of it.
I got you. No, I'm talking about from the form where, just you're watching your shows. You know what I mean? Not necessarily from people, but just watching your shows. But that's a good thing to say. You know why? Because people talk, So it is what it is, man.
And how long you been in here for?
Started like my own show about a few months ago.
Okay.
But I've been doing CTV like as a guest for years already.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So it's just a new path, that I decided to take in life,
Yeah, well, I just had the pleasure of meeting you recently, and I'm glad I did. And it's always good to have new producers in here because we haven't really had any new young blood producers in here in a while. Ever since like COVID, it's been, a little slow, but people are gradually coming back.
I got you. Well, yeah, it's probably because also like the fact that they gatekeep a lot of these situations, but at least we're here to give opportunity, of course,
Yeah.
And you kind of understand why they do, right? Because you see that, not everybody's going to be grateful, of course, but it's just life, and we're just striving for a more positive day, of course. So we can start with the first question. How did you start in your career in the TV industry?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. I started off as a musician. I'm a drummer since the age of 12. And then, I just played with bands most of my life. And how I, TV, this is public access TV, cable television. But technically, I got into public access here, actually, a long time when I was young, in 1997. Okay, long time, and that's when it was CTV. A lot of changes since then, but I mainly came here to learn how to do film editing and learn how to do TV production, because back then I had a good friend, Chris Young, and John Heiser, who did a rock show, and they used to come film our band, and they said, you could go get certified and air your band all the time. So I was like, that sounds great. So that's what I did, and then once I got in, and then once you get in as a producer, they want you to do a show. So I started doing a show, and it was a low-budget show. It was called The Gangsters of Rock. It was all porta bump in the editing room, filmed outside. So the theme was, it was gangster clips with rock and roll footage. And I used to host it. I used to film it in my basement and film all the other stuff outside that I edited here. Until years later, I got my own editing equipment. But, as time went on, I, kind of like stayed away from here for a little while after my band came out with a record, and then I came back in 2007, 6 or 7, and then in 2008 I started the Late Night with Johnny P show, and that was an entertainment variety show more on a professional level, that using Studio A and with an audience and all that stuff. Took a couple of years to get it off the ground, and then did that for 10 seasons. Took some time off due to some personal issues, and started the Up Late with Johnny Potenza show. And then we got hit with COVID, and then we didn't do shows for 18 months. Came back, got shut down again because of COVID, and then we just started doing the shows again. And for the last couple of years, I've just been laying back from the grind, because I've been I got over 200 shows in my library, and it's been a long time. Kind of burnt out a little, and working on new projects now, and I'm slowing down on doing shows. I'm going to be back somewhere down in the late spring, and just taking it nice and easy right now. Trying to get
I got you, man. That's a very clear description.
I wanted to make it easy.
What you had to go through, very direct and precise. For the next question I want to ask, you could talk to me about your rock band experience in the music industry, stuff like that.
Those are the best times. No responsibilities, but as they say, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Not too many drugs, but more I don't want to discriminate myself, but it is what it is. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Can't lie.
It's a reality.
But we had a lot of fun playing bars at the age of 15 when the drinking age was 18. And then, in my 20s, I went full force with a band called Barrage, original band, and I wanted to make it in the business. And then after Barrage, we did a band called NYB, and actually I got some CDs here. NYB was my best band. Okay, so we had an EP out that came out. It was first it was an EP. This is NYB, the Johnny P Project, None of Your Business. And then years later, we came out with the full album, NYB in your face, because we were always in everybody's face. We used to say so. NYB means none of your business. So it's typically a New York bunch of boys. We were like the Motley Crew of the island. Actually, I want to bring up some of the old shows from back in the day. First guy to put the band on his show was a man called Frankie Waters. And he had the Frankie Waters Variety Hour. It's like something that I do, but it was a little more on the easier end. Less bells and whistles, and it ran a lot more smoother. But Frankie Waters was an actor and a drummer, and he was just a great guy. And he was a role model to me, and he put us on the show a lot of times. And he would mess up everybody's name, or like didn't do his homework, or he called people different names. And that's what I do a lot of times, because I can't pronounce names, and I want to mess people's names up all the time. So I just go with it. And but yeah, Frankie Waters, man, and being in the music business, best days of my life. But I had a record label called Shinebox Records. NYB was together for 10 years, and then we had trouble with our guitar player, in and out of rehab throughout the whole time. And by after 10 years, the band kind of just split, and everything just came crashing down. And like every other rock band, it's hard to keep together. Went into a depression, and then I met a great woman that I was with, and wound up staying with for years and getting engaged. And that's another story we were going to say for another time. But yeah, and that's it. And then I came back to CTV, and CTV was probably the best times of my life, more than community media, because it was different back then. We had more people here, and there were more younger people, and we had more volunteers, and it was easier to do stuff, and we were younger. But with media and social media and all the stuff that's out today, everything changed. It's not like it used to be. We used to be able to sell CDs out of the back of our trunk. We used to sell them in the record stores. There's no record stores around no more. And it's a whole different game. But yeah, I mean, listen, community media is a great place to be, and we need more people here. And you're a young man in your early 30s. It's great to see you here. And when we're trying to grab more people here, before we could have more producers for the bigger shows like mine, and other people it could run a little easier, and we could have more programming.
Exactly. That's great, man. For the third question, do you have any advice for TV show hosts, upcoming musicians, people in the industry?
Listen, I'm the last person. Well, I can give advice, but I'm not the smartest guy when it comes to being book smart. But what I can say for being a host, there's a lot of homework involved with it. And like when I was in school, homework, I didn't want to do homework. I was a blue collar guy, and so that's my hardest part of my show when I do it is studying. Doing the research. The research is easy, but writing everything out, that's the most toughest part of it. But if you're in television already and you're smart and you're book smart, you can read good, it's easy. But yeah, that's the most work. It's just you just got to keep it going, and you got to study, and you got to do your research on your guests, and you got to let your guests talk.
Exactly. Well, it's about expressing yourself and allowing people to express themselves, right? That's what the point of having like a talk show. It's about, you know what I mean, being able to communicate and socialize properly with the people, of course, For the fourth question, what was your turning point in your career as a TV personality?
You know what it is? I don't look at myself as a TV personality. I mean, in public access worlds, yeah, and then underground, yeah. I mean, but it's great. I mean, it's fun. But if you want to get to the next level, the business is so damn hard, and it's so political, and you got to watch everything that you do. And it's just with anything here, NBC, CBS, you got to apply all the rules. Or one thing that you do wrong, you're gone, or you get suspended or something like that. I mean, it's a tough game. The social media thing, it got a lot of freedom on it. I mean, the kids today that are on it, to me, it's good and it's bad, but the younger generation, they know what they're doing with it. They were born with it. It's almost like they had a third arm. Like when we were growing up as kids, me, I'm a little older than you, played stickball, we played handball, we hung out in the park, we played basketball, we used to play manhunt. You know, we used to throw eggs at cars, tomatoes at cars. We used to do like stuff that the kids used to do. You know, we didn't have computers, and anyone who had a computer when I was young was a genius. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, like smartphones too. Like even when I grew up in the '90s, these phones didn't exist.
No.
Like there was like when I seen a commercial watching TV on a phone, I'm like, how is that even something that you can create? You know?
Yeah.
I couldn't comprehend the fact that technology was advancing at such a rapid rate. You know, and it's an evolution that we've seen right from our childhood to now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's almost like Get Smart. If you ever watched that TV show, Get Smart, or the Jetsons. If you watched that cartoon, the Jetsons.
Yeah, I seen that one.
You know, they would talk on the TV, and you would be like, when you were a kid, like, wow, imagine if you could talk to somebody on the TV, on a screen, you know, instead of talking to them on the phone, and then years later, that's what we have now. I can only imagine in another 10 or 20 years what technology is going to be.
Flying cars, that's already here, but for them to actually release it, I would say
Listen, it's gonna
the world
take.
has to be
You know
more
how?
stable.
You know, yeah. You know how crazy that's going to be. It's going to be like space stations. They're going to have like millions and millions of flying cars, and they're going to already have to have the things in the air. And they're going to have to get when they trade. You're going to have to trade your car in for a space car and get everybody off the ground. And get rid of those cars in order for everybody to be able to do that. Because imagine having cars driving on the floor and having cars in the air. It'll be
Crash will be chaotic.
it'll
more
be
chaotic.
crashes all over the place.
Be way worse. There's more
I'll be
of a
I'll be dead by then.
hopefully not, but we'll see what's up with that. You know. For the next question, right? Tell me your story about how you became who you are today, as a whole, not just in the TV industry, but as the man that you are. You know.
Listen, that's a question. That's a question where people are probably watching and saying, "I can't wait to hear what he has to say." I don't know. You know, I'm a difficult guy, but I'm an easy guy. You understand? I'm a family man. You know, I'm a neighborhood guy. You know, I'm a religious guy, and I'm also a no shit guy. And yeah, I do tend to get crazy sometimes, but you know, I'm human. That's all I can say. But you know, at the end of the day, if you're my friend for life. If you're my family, you're my family for life. If you're my enemy, then you're my enemy for life. And that's all it comes down to. It's the American way.
I got you. Well, that's a very precise, clear way to let it out.
It's the truth. I mean, I say it as I say it, and you know. But
That's life, man. What would you say is what we can expect in the future with your TV show and with what you're doing over here? You know?
I don't know. Right now, I'm just looking for different avenues to do and new projects to work on. One thing I can say, we're working on we've been working on it, but we're taking our time. It's a documentary. It's called From Late Night to Up Late. It's a behind-the-scenes look at the making of a public access late night show. It's going to be a behind-the-scenes look about the making and the journey and the ins and the outs and the whole thing. If we ever get it done and it gets finished, we're going to do film festivals and then do an Amazon release for it. And it's going to be it's a project that's going to be in the works for a couple of years. And I'm working on. We're actually doing a podcast right now that's not released, but we signed with an independent podcast company that is works with commercial advertisers and sponsorships. We already got 20 episodes in the bag. We got to do about 25. We're gonna pick a bunch of them which will work, and then they're gonna get them on all the platforms and see where it goes. We're gonna trying it out, just something different, but it's fun. It's something different. And I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what I want to do with my late night show in the future. Right now, I'm just taking a mental break from it and just going to do limited shows. And when I'm physically ready to come back and full of steam again, I will. And wherever God wants me to be, honestly, without no BS, that's where I'm going to go.
I got you. Well, that's great. You know, it's important to have God in our plans and in our hearts because if we're talking about real loyalty and love, you know, that's what God's at. You know, a lot of times we try to find it in friends or in people, and you know, we are heartbroken because we, you know, see that, you know, rare, but as long as we got God, we'll be all right?
Listen, I know I'm a sinner. I'm a saint and a sinner. And when I pray, I always ask God, I need you with me. I go, I can't do it alone. And I believe I lasted this long because of him. But yeah, listen, I got a long way to go. I mean, I'm still working on myself. Everybody works on themselves all the time. Me, I'll be working on myself until the day I'm dead. But you know what? You know, you can't fix everything. You can't fix an old car sometimes, right?
Exactly.
You can only tune it up a little. Get some new tires, new paint, right?
Past a certain point, you can rebuild the engine, you can rebuild like gears and stuff like that. I do some mechanic, but when the frame of the car is too old,
Yeah.
that's already to the point where it's like even welding it, like that steel just has to be rebuilt now, renewed. You got to strip the whole thing at that point. It's like a car or a cardboard at that point.
You know what I learned the last couple of years, and it's true. Once your health starts getting affected by things that you're doing for fun, and you're getting stressed out, and you're taking it out on people, and you're getting sick over it, and it changes you. That's when you got to step back from it and take care of yourself and get yourself back in check. And it's just, we're normal as human beings, and that's what I've been doing lately. Just taking a little breather and just, I'm getting older now, and I'm looking for a house to buy actually, and don't know where I want to live in the future, so we'll see.
I got you, man. That's what it is, man. For the next question, how would you describe yourself to the people?
I don't know. I can't say that. I pretty much, I think I just said that. Described the people. As I said, I'm an American from Brooklyn, New York, and grew up in Staten Island. That's it.
I got you. That's what it is. Well, who you are is, I think there's more depth to it than describing yourself. It's more of like, for example, I'm an artist, and I do TV shows. But if you was to ask me who I am, I'd be like, I'm a chosen man of God that's here to shape the universe into its holy design.
You're here to save me, Jay.
There's a lot of ways to put it. You know what I mean? But I see what you're saying. There's a similarity to it, of course.
Listen, everybody comes in everybody's life for a reason.
That's
you know what
true.
I mean?
Yeah.
God takes people out of our lives for a reason.
That too.
Sometimes people come in your life and they go for a reason.
The lesson learned.
I got friends. I got a best friend that I grew up with from Brooklyn since I'm 7 years old, and he's still my best friend. Retired detective, triple star, terrorist squad, everything. He's still my best friend. I got my friends that I grew up with when I was 13. They're still my best friends. There's people that you meet in a couple of years, you're not friends with them no more. It's the loyalty where it lies. Some people are meant to stay friends, and some people are not. It's just, it's life. But my father used to say, if you have 6 good friends, 7 good friends, best friends, or good friends in your life, you're already ahead of the game. And I'm blessed that I have people in my life that I could always count on. And like the guys in the band right here, they're all my brothers. And a rich man is a man with friends. You could have all the money in the world, and if you have no friends, you're a lonely guy.
I mean, loyalty can't be bought. Love
No.
can't be bought either. So that means that's even more expensive than having all the material gain.
People are always going to push each other's buttons. That's just life. Everybody, if everyone was to get along and everyone was to love everybody, that's not the way God created us.
We got free will, so people are not going to do that as a whole. If they got the choice to do it.
Look at Elvis Presley. Billions of people love Elvis. I love Elvis. There were millions of men that didn't like Elvis because their wives loved Elvis. So they didn't like Elvis Presley. Politicians didn't like Elvis, but this is just how it is.
I got you.
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, great leaders, right?
I heard his favorite sandwich. It was a weird combination, but I do like the base of it, which is PB&J. But it was PB&J with bacon and something else.
Peanut butter and jelly with bacon?
It was a crazy combination with sandwich. He used to fly to some city, I think in the South or something, to have that. And I found that out because I was like, I do research on history of a lot of things, like the origin of this, of that. And so, for example, the tomato is from South America. So the tomato is very important when it comes to like Italian food, pasta, pizza. but originally the conquest to the Americas is what actually brought that and introduced it to the culinary um, food that
Hmm.
we have today. So it's fairly still, even if it's Italian, the history of it is that its creation did have a lot to do with America,
It
like
seems like
burgers.
everything is getting reinvented. Italian dishes, the Spanish people take an Italian dish and make it a little bit their own. Italian will take us
That and that did
Spanish
also.
dish like you did tonight with the macaroni. You change it around with a little extra spicy and
Yeah,
spice in there. I love to cook. That's one of my pastimes. I love cooking. I like to entertain, and there's nothing like having family and friends over. You know,
I got you. Like the lasagna, the Hispanics took it, and instead of putting the pasta with the beef and the sauces, they put plantains, sweet plantains,
Ew.
with the beef and the
I
sauces.
gotta check
You
that
might
out.
not like. I'm telling you, you might it might not sound too good to you, but I'm telling you, it's delicious. At least for my taste buds, it is.
Listen, I eat a lot. You see this? I put this on in the last couple of years.
I got you. You got to try that. Like I said, I think it's called pastelon. That's how you call it.
Like a plant based or no?
No, no, it's not plant based. It just has plantain. But to go to the next question though, because I got stuck on my own
It's all right.
agenda. You know, this is Johnny Potenza's show, not Jay Cuttz show. You know
Oh,
what I
this
mean?
is your show. I'm here. I'm your guest.
I feel you know what I'm saying because you're the guest. Is your segment. I have
cool.
I have so many shows to talk about whatever I want to talk about right
You
now.
can talk about whatever you want.
I feel you, bro. But we're gonna focus on you, and then when we got time, we'll
Where'd you
put
get
me.
those glasses from?
Actually, Party City was closing down, and they
Get
had a
outta
whole
here.
bunch of stuff on sale. I got these for like a quarter.
Yeah, they look expensive, but
But they cost more than that. But they were having such a major sale that a lot of these things that were cost like a Yankee flag, they had one for like an original price $20, and I got it for like 40 cents. And I don't know if you heard, but they were shutting down all their stores because of this is like a new time in history where retail stores are starting to go out of fashion, and now you can go on Amazon
Yeah.
and on all these websites to order. So they don't have the funding that they have from the people that they had in the beginning. So
Yeah.
they're all shutting down, and I took advantage of that, and I was like, hey, my body's for a quarter, but when I go on TV, they're not gonna know it's a quarter.
Yeah.
So let me rock it, and I have no shame in saying that. Hey, you guys find a sale, save your money. So many people over here are flashy and
Yeah.
they don't have much. He'll spend his last $500 on a pair of sneakers, and then he'll call you for $5.
I just bought myself a nice set of Nike Airs. I said, let me splurge. They're pretty cool.
I got you.
Take a while to break in, though.
Yeah, well, you do have to stretch them in, of course. I got you. Especially if you get exactly a size.
Yeah, I got the good ones. I got the good ones because my second cousin is a salesman for Nike. So they were like, I don't know, they were almost $200, but he got me a 35% off discount. So I said, okay, I'll buy them.
I got you.
So I saved all that money.
As long as we're happy with what we got, that's the important thing, man. I don't need all this fancy stuff. I just need.
I'm gonna make these last for 5 years. I'm gonna wear other sneakers and I just wear these every now and then.
I got you. That's what it is, man. For the next question, right? What would you say is the meaning of life for you?
Family and friends, and health
All right, that's what it is.
and religion. Your higher power.
I got you. Like, would you say like completing God's purpose?
Yeah, and listen, I'm not like Joe Bible and Mr. like reformed, which no, we were all born sinners. The apostles were sinners. I mean, God forgives us all for sin, and as long as we repent and do the confession, and that's what's good about the Catholic religion. We could sin and then go to confession and sin again, as long as we don't take no one's life and something like that. But no, yeah, listen, that's pretty much what it comes down to. We work hard, and you want to enjoy your spare time with your family and your friends. A little bit of wine, some good food.
I got you. I used to be Catholic. I'm not no more, but I remember going to the priest to confess, and that was a while back, and I was a kid, but I was telling him some stuff where like now that I reflect, I'm like, damn, like am I actually? But now that I'm outside of religion, I would say like my view of it is like if you have to confess, you do it unto God, and if you must get right with somebody, it's also important to confess to that person and say, I know I did this wrong, but I will make amends and I'm sorry. And it's always important to tell them what you did as well, so they can know like, oh, he's aware of what happened and he's being honest, so it might not be necessarily like you confess to a priest in the Catholic religion, but you're just being honest with the person, you know. Like if I offend somebody or if you offend somebody, like, you know, acknowledging what was done and how you're sorry about it, it makes a difference, you know.
You know what is in the music and entertainment business? It's a sticky situation. It depends on where you are and what you're doing. Yeah, I'm known for a little bit of a hard ass, so that I don't want a little tough doing production sometimes because of the stress of it, of how we do it, because there's just so much going on, and I'm just so close to it. You kind of get crazy and you don't really realize what you're doing or what you're saying, and then but yeah, listen, at the end of the day, before we die, we got to make it good with the Lord and just, you know, accept him. You accept Jesus as your savior before you die, and then as long as you don't kill anybody and you don't do nothing crazy like that, you know, we go to heaven.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what we believe. Sometimes I don't know what's going to happen after the afterlife, but I believe in heaven and I believe in hell, and I'm definitely not going to hell.
Right.
I might be in purgatory for a while, but I'm definitely not going to hell.
Yeah, I got you, man. Well, that's what it is, man. It's important to hear, you know, people's spiritual beliefs, and I also believe in the afterlife. So it is what it is, man. Like, God is too huge for there not to be something, you know what I mean, afterlife. Like, this universe is so huge, they can't even find all the life in the ocean.
Yeah.
You're telling me that life is gonna end when we leave this world? Like, no, there has to be. And even people that kill or that murder can still be forgiven by God, because according to the scripture, the only sin that won't be forgiven is the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So that's how that works if you're following that faith.
Put it this way: if someone's going to break in your house or they're going to rob you and they got a gun and they're going to kill you, you got to protect yourself. And if the other guy gets killed before you, I mean, it's self-defense.
That's killing in self-defense. That's not murder. Like,
yeah, that's just
to murder is like hatred.
Yeah.
And negativity and evil. But if you're defending yourself, God knows that. He's like, hey, this guy was sent by Satan to take you out, and you just stood up for yourself.
Well, what about the gangs? And I'm not going to just mention gangs, but gangs, just to get initiated, they go out there and they kill somebody just to get into a gang. I mean, to me, come on, that makes no sense.
Like in Central America, like the gangs in El Salvador, I'm half Salvadorian. That's what they do. You know what I mean? MS-13
it's
and
brutal
18th
over
Street,
there a little, right?
That's what they do. Yeah, like the Bloods and the Crips might waive that and do something else, but those Spanish gangs, yeah, they have that as an initiation, a must. Thank God I never got involved. Those people are too much for me. The next one is if you could describe your faith in God, man, and how you got saved.
I didn't get saved. I'm you know, well, yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't even know. That's a hard question. Saved. I'm just, I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that, honestly. God spared me years ago in my life because I believe I'm here for a special reason, and I don't think didn't get to that special place yet where I'm probably going to get in my older years. You know, because I always danced with danger when I was younger.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad you're here, man, and I'm glad that we're able to have this conversation in health and life and in positivity, of course. You know, it's already been half an hour, you know, so if you got anything to say before we sign out, you know, to the people out here so they can digest all this information that they just got.
I don't know what to say. Just do the best that you can and check out my stuff on JohnnyPTV.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and who knows where I'm going to be in the future. So thank you so much for bringing me on the show, Jay.
It's all good, bro.
I call him Jay Cuttz. I go, anyone that's a friend of mine that I become friends with always gets a nickname. So since you make great cutlets, Jay Cuttz is a cool name, man.